Hello, sweetheart. I'm going to read you a beautiful story so you can feel warm and cozy under your blankets. If you want, you can set your phone or tablet aside and let your imagination spark to life. The Slow Stroll Through Honeydew Orchard. In a sunny corner of the countryside, where the air always smelled a little like warm fruit and mild summer rain, there was a peaceful place called Honeydew Orchard. It wasn't an ordinary orchard. The trees there were rounder, softer, friendlier looking than any others. Their branches drooped gently toward the ground, heavy with sweet golden fruit that glowed in the sunlight like tiny suns hanging from the leaves. The orchard stretched across a gentle hill, rolling outward like a blanket of green and gold. The grass was soft and warm, and it always seemed to sway in slow motion no matter how windy it was elsewhere. Even on the busiest of days, Honeydew Orchard felt like it was always taking a slow, deep breath. At the edge of the orchard lived a little hedgehog named Mallow. Mallow was a tiny hedgehog with soft round spikes and shiny black eyes. He loved peaceful things, warm patches of sunlight, the smell of clover, and the feel of soft grass under his paws. He especially loved walking through the orchard, moving slowly between the trees, letting the gentle world around him fill him with calm. One warm morning, Mallow woke to the sound of bees humming outside his burrow. They weren't buzzing loudly, just a low, comfortable hum that felt like the beginning of a cozy dream. Mallow stretched, yawned a tiny hedgehog yawn, and stepped outside. The orchard looked beautiful. The sunlight dripped through the branches like liquid gold. The breeze carried the scent of sweet fruit and warm grass. Everything glowed softly. Today felt like the perfect day for a slow stroll. Mallow waddled into the orchard, his tiny paws sinking slightly into the warm soil. He stopped at the first tree, an old honeydew pear tree whose branches drooped low enough to brush the tops of his ears. He nuzzled one of the pears and smiled at its gentle glow. "Good morning, pear tree," he whispered. The leaves rustled softly, as though greeting him back. Mallow continued on, walking slowly between the rows of trees. Birds perched on the branches, singing quiet little melodies that floated through the orchard like soft ribbons. Their songs weren't loud or excited, just gentle, warm notes that fit perfectly with the calm air. After a while, Mallow found his friend Fennel, a big, fluffy rabbit with long ears that almost touched the ground. Fennel was resting beneath a shade tree, nibbling lazily on clover leaves. "Hello, Mallow," Fennel said in a soft, sleepy voice. "Hello, Fennel," Mallow replied. "It's a peaceful morning." Fennel nodded slowly, the kind of morning where even the breeze feels like it's taking a nap. Mallow giggled. "Would you like to take a stroll with me?" Fennel yawned and stretched his long ears. "Only if we go very slowly," he said. "Today feels like a slow day." "Perfect," Mallow replied. The two friends walked side by side, moving at the softest pace, feeling the warm ground under their feet. The orchard around them seemed to glow brighter as they passed through it. Bees drifted from flower to flower, their wings making a gentle whir. Butterflies danced lazily in the sunlight. Even the shadows of the trees looked sleepy, stretching comfortably across the grass. As they walked, Mallow noticed something fluttering near one of the taller trees. It was a tiny piece of cloth, pale yellow and caught gently on a branch. He tugged it free and held it at. It was a little sun scarf. Fennel tilted his head. "Oh, that must belong to Daisy," he said, "the little bird from the hillside. She wears scarves so her wings stay warm." Mallow nodded. "Let's return it to her." But not quickly, not hurriedly. They continued their slow walk through the orchard, following the winding path that led toward the hillside. Along the way, they passed a soft green pond where frogs rested on lily pads, barely moving. One frog lifted a sleepy hand to wave. Mallow waved back. They crossed a narrow wooden bridge that creaked in a comforting, familiar way. The water below flowed gently, whispering stories about small fish and drifting leaves. Finally, they reached a small tree at the edge of the orchard where Daisy the bird was perched, ruffling her feathers. She looked surprised and relieved when she saw the scarf. "You found it!" she chirped softly, her voice barely louder than a whisper. I thought it had flown away forever. Mallow handed it to her with a gentle smile. Daisy wrapped it warmly around her wings. Thank you. It's a perfect day for staying cozy. Mallow nodded. It's a perfect day for everything calm. The three of them sat beneath the tree for a while, not talking much, just enjoying the warm sun, the soft orchard breeze, and the quiet hum of the world moving slowly around them. Eventually, Fennel reclined fully, closing his eyes, dozing, drifting, breathing softly. Daisy curled her wings around herself, nestling deeper into the shade. Mallow leaned back against the tree trunk, feeling its strength behind him. He let his eyes drift upward, watching clouds move across the sky. They were slow, fluffy clouds, big enough to cast long, soft shadows across the orchard, moving like floating pillows. Everything in Honeydew Orchard was quiet, warm, safe, peaceful. Mallow closed his eyes. He breathed in the smell of warm grass and sweet fruit. He felt the sun wrap him in a gentle blanket, and before long he drifted into a soft, cozy sleep, while the orchard whispered around him, singing its slow, warm song to anyone willing to listen. Good night, sweetheart.